Mobile Gamers Unite. So this is the juggler that I've been working on. He's pretty powerful. His total power is 3638. If we look at his rating, this juggler is ranked number 7. So this will give you a pretty good idea of how powerful Jugler is. Little bit of info on him. The best build for him as far as damage goes and viability is his cavalry build. We'll look at his skill tree real quick. This is the best way to go. It's going to cost you some rune stones, but it's definitely worth it. As you can see here, when he gets to be a behemoth, he gets the Mark of the Sacred Beast fusion power, and he also gets Beast Shock, which is incredibly powerful. It's going to make your attack about 800 for 2 turns. How does this stack up to someone like Leon? Well, Leon gets Chivalry, and it's a 4-turn cooldown instead of a 5-turn cooldown. He's going to be able to spam that more, and that does give Leon a higher attack, and he can use it more often. But what's really cool about Jugler is he shares a fusion buff with Freya. And that's really important because then you can have Freya use the fusion buff. He can go around throwing Beast Shock, and you can also try to use Great Dragon Barrier with Beast Shock. You can't do that right now because Great Dragon Barrier is broken. It's supposed to increase your attack, scaling with your magic defense. Instead, it's using your normal defense, and that actually brings Jugler's attack down. I've already contacted support about this. It's in some of my other videos. They're working on fixing it. So why would you even want to use a runestone to unlock Great Dragon Barrier? Well, you're really going to be using that runestone to unlock the vampire bats, which Jugler can get at level 40. It's pretty cool. Jugler in his behemoth form with vampire bats is very self-sufficient. It's a lot of damage, and he heals himself quite a bit. Now, as far as playing Jugler goes, I've messed around with him for a little bit. His talent is Sacred Beast Sanctuary. Pretty much he moves over everything, any piece of terrain in the game like it's plains. So he's going to be able to really utilize cover, which is really important for him. Because his other ability is he reduces damage by 1.5% depending on how many missing soldiers you have. So mine's at 1.5% because my Jugler is a 4-star. At 1.5%, if all of my units are dead, all 10 of them, then he's going to take 15% less damage. And he already has a pretty decent defense and magic defense, so he's not going to be taking that much damage at all. On top of that, Jugler's probably going to be standing on a piece of terrain that's already giving him 20% damage mitigation because of a cover bonus. It's easier for Jugler to get to terrain and to use terrain, and it makes a huge difference. So like I said, in the future, I'll be able to take this fusion buff out and use Freya's and try to use his Beast Shock with his Great Dragon Barrier ability. Right now, that's not an option. So let's look at his equipment. His armor should pretty much... Jugler needs hit points, and that's very important for him. So the Dragon Scale armor is a really good choice. Other than that, I have the Last Knight on him and Ione's helmet, and I have the Angel Feather. The reason I put the Angel Feather on him is because it increases his hit points and healing effects. It also makes him immune to stun, which is nice. Now, I could put an Assault Ring in here, and he could do more damage, but I like him where he's at. After he uses Beast Shock, his attack goes up to like 800, which is nice. It lasts for 2 turns, and then when he gets hit, he heals everybody for about 1300 hit points, which is very nice, especially against flyers. When a flyer hits you, he's going to heal everybody for 1200. Then typically if flyers have an AoE attack that they do after their action, That's going to hit Jugler for another 600-700 hit points, and then he's going to heal everybody for 12 to 1300 again. Also, Jugler's probably going to be standing on a piece of terrain that gives him damage mitigation. So you're not going to take very much damage. You're going to heal a decent amount. And then when it's all said and done, you can get your hit points back because you have vampire bats. As long as some of those are alive, you can use Beast Shock. You can do a tremendous amount of damage, and then you can heal some of your health back off of that. I've seen Beast Shock with vampire bats heal for about 4,000 or 5,000 hit points. That's just great. So this is my Jugler. I'm gonna make some videos about him actually clearing some content and doing some stuff like that. How does he compare to Leon as a cavalry unit? Well, Leon has Chivalry. Chivalry is only a 4-turn cooldown, which is a big difference. Chivalry gives Leon, it's pretty much like a mini fusion buff, and it gives him actually more attack than a normal fusion buff does. I think by like 5 or 10%. I think it's 5. Regardless, Leon does have a higher attack, but Leon doesn't get to do all this nifty stuff like, heal the rest of your troops when he takes damage. Leon has a hard time moving through forests and cover because he is cavalry. So Leon's going to do more damage, and he's going to be able to use Chivalry more than Jugler's going to be able to use Beast Shock. But realistically, they're very comparable. You're going to be running around doing a lot of damage, and if something happens to your healer, it's always important that Jugler can step in. He can take over a piece of cover, give himself some damage mitigation. He can let the enemies attack him a few times. He's not going to die because he's built tanky for it. And he can realistically heal all of your troops quite a bit. I mean, he can get you your troops back for a counter assault. So I think that makes a huge difference. If you use Jugler right, he can be very viable. Here's another thing too. He shares the same fusion group as Gerald and Layla. They also have a passive heal ability. Every time they attack somebody with a ranged attack using sorceresses, they pretty much heal everybody too. Now, it's not as much as Jugler, but if you're running Jugler and them together and you're using Freya to throw up a fusion buff, guys, I mean, there's a lot of content where you wouldn't even need a healer. And if you did, you could just use some sort of off healer, because these two units together will be giving you so much healing just off of their abilities when they're taking damage or doing damage. So I think that's interesting. I will upload some content later of Jugler actually running around, tearing people's throats out. And you guys want any more content? Let me know. Mobile Gamers Unite. Vlad over and out.